Welcome to my home. Grab your favorite drink, light a scented candle, relax as we enjoy a visit with a classic tarot deck. This is Nefer Kefri of Magical Musings, and I'm about to take you through a classic deck and let you know what I think of it. Hello and welcome. This is Nefer Kefri of Magical Musings. I invite you to another visit with another classic deck, a newer deck that is destined to be a classic, the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann, published by Hay House. The Light Seers Tarot was published by Hay House in 2019, and it comes with a guidebook, and the guidebook has black and white thumbnails of each card image. It has the Light Seer interpretation, which is the upright, and the Shadow Seer, which is the reversed. Then there's a discussion as to the imagery on the card, and every card includes an affirmation. This is the Ace of Swords, and the affirmation is, I experience brilliant moments of clarity. So it's a really, really nice little guidebook. I love it when authors include affirmations for the cards because, I often will use tarot cards for my meditation practice. So when they come with their own affirmation, that is quite helpful to me. So the guidebook, there's also, I think, 4 or 5 spreads in here. Yeah, there's Light of the Day, which is your typical 1-card draw. Then there's Light and Shadow spread, which is a 2-card. You have the Lightworker Illumination spread, which is a 3-card draw. Calling in Love spread, which is a 4-card. And you have the Soul Joy spread, which is another 3-card spread. Again, very nice card deck. There is a new book just published, which goes into much more detail. I do not have that book. I'm hoping to get it eventually. I bought this deck several years ago, and actually when it first came out in 2019, and I really love it. This has become one of my absolute all-time favorite decks, and that's saying a lot because I have over 300 decks in my current collection. I began deck collecting in 1976, the year I began reading tarot. I've been collecting ever since, and that collection, it rotates. I've sold some decks, so overall, I've had over 500 decks in my experience. The Light Seers Tarot, this is in my top 5. The reason it's in my top 5, several reasons. First of all, it's borderless, which I like as a reader because when I read the cards for a client, I like to string along the story. I like to find out what the storyline is and go from image to image. So not only providing an intuitive interpretation of each card, but also describing to my client how these images interact with each other. How do they relate? Like these two, for instance, these two people, they basically have their backs to each other. That means something, and I will share that with my client. Now, when a deck has a border, you've got the border running between the images, and that tends to kind of muddy the waters for me, the way that I read cards. And I have often gone through and performed a borderectomy on my decks, meaning I take my card trimmer and I trim off the borders so that they are borderless. So some of you may be going, oh my God, no. There's no middle ground when it comes to borderectomies. You either think it's a great idea or you think it's just the worst thing ever. But for this one, I didn't have to do that. And I also love it because the colors are just so bright. They're so vibrant. And each card is an individual work of art. I mean, Chris Ann, she just has created such a fabulous contribution to the field. I mean, truly. Another thing I really like about the deck is the inclusion of people from all ethnicities. Every color under the rainbow is represented in this deck. And I love that as a person of color myself. I am of Mexican American descent. So I really appreciate that in a deck, because so many of the decks, they're just so, you know, monochromatic when it comes to people. Let's put it that way. This deck is not. It's just fabulous. Look at the moon. I mean, isn't that just, that's just an amazing image to me. And even though I've been using this deck since 2019, I still see new things in the cards when I do readings. And I love that about this deck too. It just really awakens my intuition. Another thing I really like about the Light Seers Tarot is the cardstock. The cardstock, it's really strong. These cards are not going to get dinged up. When I shuffle the cards, I do rifle shuffling, which is, you know, tougher on the deck than hand-over-hand shuffling is. And I have yet to have any issues with this deck. This is the deck I purchased in 2019. I have a separate one, second copy, I use strictly for meditation, so it's never been used in readings, and the cards have never been shuffled or taken out of order. That's because it's my meditation deck. But this one I use in all my readings. And again, look at that Queen of Cups, would you? Oh my goodness. And I also, what I really like about this deck, it's very easy for people who are new to tarot, for them to look at the images and kind of read it for themselves. Like, you know, this one here, there's some sort of fight going on here, some sort of an argument. These people are, you know, in a struggle. Five of Wands. And that's what it's about. You've got the Hermit. This person's out here on their mountaintop all alone, you know, with the light of illumination around them. You know, the Seeker. And so it's nice to use this with people who are not that familiar with tarot. Because again, they see the images in their reading. They can kind of tell the direction that the reading's going to go in, you know? I also like how a lot of the cards have the rainbow of colors in them. A lot of them are like that. Get the Ace of Swords. You know, the labyrinth of the mind and the spiral energy of the mind. It's just really fascinating. And the Empress, look at that. Oh my goodness. Three of Swords. Another thing I like about this deck is the darker cards, you know, like you just saw the Three of Swords there. And then, of course, the cards that scare people, like the Death card, the Devil card, the Ten of Swords. They're not as dark and ominous as you see in other decks, and yet they still get the point across. Wait till you see the Death card. It is my all-time favorite Death card from any deck. I'm going through it now kind of quickly, trying to get to the Death card and to also wrap up our visit with the Light Seers Tarot, because this video is starting to get kind of long. But it is, look at the High Priestess. That's the cover. Just again, just another fabulous card. Every single one of them. Here's the Death card. Look at this. And it's called Death and Rebirth, because that's what it is. It's change, it's transition. It's the end of one phase of your life, the beginning of another, you know? And so here you have the figure of Death cloaked in red. Kind of reminds me of the Vincent Price movie, The Mask of the Red Death, you know? But then look at the face and the burst of energy. The sun is coming up, the blue sky, the growth of the trees. It's saying things may be ending now, but there's something beginning. There's something coming through, something new. I love the imagery of this Death card. It is just, to me, the best. So this is our visit with the Light Seers Tarot. That is not a classic right now, but it will be. I highly recommend this deck. I hope you've enjoyed this flip through and my opinion of it. If you'd like to order it, I always include an Amazon link in the description below. Note that all the Amazon links are affiliate links, associate links of mine. I get a very tiny commission from that at no extra cost to you, and I very much appreciate your support if you use my link. I thank you for watching. We've been visiting with The Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann, published by Hay House in 2019, available everywhere. If you like this video, I ask that you please give it a like, subscribe to my channel. Please drop a comment. Comments help my videos to get seen by new eyes. The YouTube algorithm will pick it up and start recommending it, and I would deeply appreciate that as I am revitalizing my channel. Thanks so much for everyone who has stuck with me all this time. And I look forward to creating more and more videos for y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Have a blessed day ahead. This is Nefer Kefri of Magical Musings.